Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you really quick how to get your Click PLC software connected to your Tailscale network. So first things first, before we do anything, is go to Tailscale subnet routing, their docs, and get that set up. I have a Linux server. It's super easy to set up, legit. I have a Linux server that I currently have Tailscale subnet routing running on, and then so you get all that set up and then connect your PLC. So this is the Click PLC that I have. Connect this physically with your Ethernet cable, and then plug that into your router or into like a hub, like a dumb switch, which is connected to your router. So once you get that Ethernet connection connected there, then and you have your um, subnet routing through Tailscale on your Linux server, then you can start this process that I'm doing. And this was really the longest process of trial and error and troubleshooting because I could not figure out how to get it connected. I was able to connect it on my Wi-Fi without any issue, um, but I was not able to connect it from being on a Tailscale network, like from my hotspot, because right now I'm on my hotspot, and having Tailscale network running, which is right here, Tailscale connected, and then being able to connect. So I ended up doing is I ended up finding that if you go to the docs here on the Click PLC, you'll see that the programming software has a port number. So that's its default port number. And it also is registered as UDP instead of TCP. So, and that's on by default, as you can see. So that port number was the biggest hurdle for me. So if you go here and then you do outside this LAN, and then you basically click add. In my case, I already have one added, but you'll click add, you'll put in your stuff. So in my case, I'm just going to edit. I just named the link name Tailscale. And then this is my IP address that is on the PLC. So you'll want to set your IP address. And then you just select the port, which is the port number that we just specified on the documentation here. So 25425. Um, and then what you'll want to do is you'll want to, because UDP has a lot of packet loss, what you'll want to do with Tailscale, it doesn't really work that well. So you want to do your timeout for 10 seconds, then retries 5. So just keep this all the way high. Um, and then we'll go ahead and click connect on that and we'll see if it works. But yeah, so this will connect. And you want to have those timeouts and retries high just because there is a lot of packet loss. So that'll prevent, it'll have an extended period of time to try and receive or send those packages back and forth without disconnecting. So it looks like it connected, and I'll just go ahead and validate by clicking status monitor. And then as you can see, we have our values all showing up perfectly fine. So this is pretty cool. Like I said, I am on the Tailscale. As you can see here, Tailscale is running. Another thing to note, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and disconnect right now, and I'm going to show you that the default gateway, so you have to set your default gateway of the PLC. We all know the subnet um, should be the subnet mask should be the 255.252.255, but the default gateway, which I don't think it's specified in here, yeah, and I can't pull it up unless I change the configuration. But your default gateway is going to be the IP address of your Linux server. So instead of having it be the IP address of your router, like your home NAT, your home like local area network, not NAT, local area network, instead of having it that as your default, like you would normally do with all your other stuff in the house, you'd want to point it to your Linux server that's running subnet routing, its IP address. So that's what I did. So the PLC is actually running the default gateway of the Linux server that I have in my house. So that's one important caveat to have set up in your PLC. But other than that, as you saw, we had it connected, and this can be remote connected from anywhere because that's the power of Tailscale. And yeah, so it's a little slow. That's the only problem. But honestly, to have this really old device be able to be going through a new um, SDN is awesome so that we can actually connect to this from anywhere.